Everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSI DFS Fantasy NASCAR Picks. I'm our Smoker 31. Probably a shorter video today. It's a plate track, Super Speedway. So it's if you haven't watched these before, I'll go over in a second. But first, a little commercial here. FSI DFS. If you want to get into our Discord and see what we're doing, go to the description of the video, and the link is there to our website to sign up. We are offering preseason NFL and NHL for free, not NFL. That's over with. Well, the preseason is the season's going on, and there's a nice package for that, but you have to pay. Sorry. And Major League Baseball is free through the rest of the postseason. So if you want to take advantage of those two things, and had NASCAR free this weekend too, just because of the it was impossible to make a video for the speculation video for Talladega because especially for Xfinity, because you needed to know what the starting order was. So anyways, check those things out. So this race, if you haven't played Super Speedway and DFS before and you're new to it, there's three rules. First of all, play light because it's a high variable store to begin with, and this makes it even worse. Lots of wrecks and potentially like goofy guys can end up winning the race or finishing in the top 5 or top 10, and they're never going to again in the rest of their career. So keep that in mind. Second is you don't have to play your full salary. Like everybody tries to maximize like the money that DK gives you. If you leave 5K, 10K, 15K, even 20K on the table, it's perfectly fine if you like your lineup, because we're looking for place differential, not necessarily dominator points, because the way these races work is fast laps are spread out throughout the whole field, and there's lots of changing, and it's rare that anybody goes out there and leads a lot of laps. Plus it's a long track, so you don't have that many laps to run anyways, versus like a mile track where you have like 300, 400, or 500 laps. And then finally, you want to play cars from the back, or you want to take place differential over like people starting up front. You don't necessarily need to have the race winner in your lineup to do well. So starting up top here, first, color code the green are the drivers still in the playoffs. I color code them also because you see manufacturers work together here, and then you see teams work together here. So if you look at the team color chart, if you want to do some stacks and find cars from the same color team and put them together in GPPs, and that sometimes works out if they work together. Ford's obviously, if you've been watching, with this new car better, just the way the noses are, they lock up better and draft better. But that doesn't mean that the Chevys and Toyotas can't work together and do well also. Sometimes you see pit strategy. We've seen it more at Daytona, but where they'll pit early and then get out there and then track position. Sometimes it's hard to pass in this new car, but with Daytona, they've been trying to experiment and figure it out. And we have seen some 3-wide racing, so that should make things more exciting and not a parade out there just running single file till the end. And that might happen. There might be some people that are fighting for stage points for the playoffs, and that might cause wrecks, or it might just go green a long time and be a yawn fest until like the last 10 laps, and then things get exciting, and then you have like 10 green white checkered at the end to get it finished. So looking at the top 5 here, Almirola, Logano, even though he's a good at this style of race, Briscoe and Larson are all fades for me. Kozlowski might be a shot in a GPP just because I think he could hook up with the rest of the Roush Fenway cars and the Penske cars and potentially win this race. So GPP potentially there. Hurst, I wish he's really good at these types of tracks, but I don't think it's going to translate here. So he's going to be a fade. If he started further on back, he'd be a great play. Cindric, I know, has won in this car the first race in a Daytona, but he just has been more bust than boom, so I can't do him. And Byron also, he just has a really bad finish rate at Super Speedway, so I can't do it there. Bubba Wallace, we've seen win and do really well. So I think if you could take a shot on him in a GPP. Ryan Blaney also is a very good pusher, could be up there and have a chance to win at the end, but I wouldn't play both in the same lineup. So pick one or the other. Harvick's a fade. This is probably the last best opportunity for him to win a race, maybe, because I don't really see him winning on a road course, or maybe Martinsville. I don't know. But he's still going to be a fade for me. Denny Hamlin has dominated Daytona. He has not been as good here, but I think still working with teammates, he could have a good day. So GPP. Reddick is very aggressive. That could be good or bad, boom or bust. So he could win the race or he could wreck first. Dylan, same thing. He's had a lot of top 5 success at these races, and he's had a lot of finish close to last in these races. So another GPP. Probably will work with his teammate Kyle Busch, who is going to be a really good play with a place differential, and some of the other Chevys, maybe from Trackhouse or Colleague or Legacy, maybe even the Hendrick ones, but usually they work together with like the Doherty and Spire. So we'll see, if all the Chevys are in a line, and I think they'll blend in. But again, I think it's a GPP. Bell and Truex, neither one are great at this type. Like Martin Truex has a billion starts at these races and hasn't ever won one. He's getting better. Same thing with Bell, but still, it's like Hamlin and Bubba in the stable are the ones that I trust the most. And if they all hook up, I think that those ones are the ones that I like. But if you're playing them all together, I don't think you can with the money wise. But yeah, it might be something to look at. You might be able to get you probably won't be able to afford all 6, but you probably be able to get at least 5 of them. And if you want to play that in GPP. Gillian is usually good here, but he's starting way too far forward. So GPP, Michael McDowell, same thing, but McDowell we've seen be very, very good at these types of races. So I think even though I don't like to play cash above 20, I think he's somebody I can consider. Priest is a GPP, probably hook up with the other Stewart Haas cars, but they're so far up ahead of him. But I think that he could definitely probably advance his position enough to pay off his salary. Bowman, I think, is a cash play here. He'll probably go help his Hendricks teammates, especially the ones in the championship with Elliott. So I think he and Elliott are both cash plays here. Harrison Burton, he crashes way too much. On a regular track, you throw in a track like this where it's easier to crash, he's got to be a fade. Ty Gibbs, I think, is a cash play. He'll work with the other Toyotas, definitely have some place differential, get up there. Could he try to break away from everybody and try to win just because that's his personality? And he's probably got a free pass from, his grandfather who owns the team if he does wreck the rest of them in the process and not get fired. Sure. So that's why I think I still think he's a cash play. I already talked about Elliott. I like him racing up there with Hendricks cars as cash. Buscher is usually really good at these types of ones. He'll hook up with Kozlowski and maybe work with the Penske guys. So I really like that. Kyle Busch won this race in the spring. He's usually GPP for me, but just because I saw how well he handled things in this car last couple of races at Talladega, I think I can put him as cash. Jones, Legacy cars, I've seen him break down and not have as much speed. He's paired up with a rookie, but if he works with these Colleague and track cars and Childress cars, I think he'll be okay. But again, he's not been great. If you look at the purple cars here, you'll see that they cross manufacturers. These are the back feeders. So Yaley's the first one, and you throw in Poole, Dillon, and McLeod. They all will just hang out in the back. They might lose laps because they won't be able to keep up with the draft. So I think you can sprinkle them in if you want to, but I think they're more GPP because except for Dillon, I think Dillon has the most upside out of them. But it's just the trouble with them is that they lose the draft. The draft could catch up to them. They can get mixed in and get in accidents, or they could all finish in the top 10 like they did. I think it was Daytona summer of 2022, and somebody that bet them all in the top 10 parlay wins like a crazy amount of money for like a couple dollars. So that's how the Rick Ware, Spire, and BJ McLeod work together. Suarez Trackhouse, I think he'll work with Chastain, and I think both of them are excellent plays to advance and get up there and have a really good race. The colleague cars here, Haley and Allmendinger, I think they'll work together. Colleague has a great Xfinity package when it comes to plate races, and I think both of them are in play. Chandler Smith I have as the third car there as the prime play, so definitely like all of these cars. If you want to stack them together, no issue with that whatsoever. If you want to take the prime play off of Smith and move it to Haley or Allmendinger because they're more experienced drivers in the Cup Series, then I'm okay with that, no problem. You're only sacrificing a couple of place differential points and only adding a couple more points of negative if they crash and go out first, but they shouldn't end up with zeros. Stenhouse won Daytona. He's looked really good at these plate races. He's not as aggressive as he used to be. He makes calculated risks, but he likes to get up front and stay up front if possible too, to try to avoid like wrecks and things like that. So as long as nobody wrecks him, I think he'll be fine. And Corey LaJoie, same thing. Probably run up there with like the Hendricks cars hooked up with some Chevys and advance himself, not really sit in the back. So I think all those ones have great place differential. So that's why the 3 prime plays. BJ McLeod, I explained it. Coach and Hocevar, I think you could throw in here, but I've seen Legacy Motorsports cars break down. I think it was maybe Jimmy Johnson at Daytona. We thought it was a good one, and the car had a lot of mechanical issues, even on Super Speedway, which is kind of bizarre. Or maybe it's the first Talladega race. It's one of those where it's just like this, the car should have been much better, but wasn't. But Hocevar here, I think he's going to probably end up in the 77 for Spire next year, in place of Ty Dillon. They just bought out Kyle Busch Motorsports in the truck series, so I think that team is definitely trying to make a jump into becoming from one of the lower echelons to the middle or top echelon in the sport. And that's what I got. So if you have any questions, put in the chat below. Hit me up my River31 on Twitter. If you want more information on FSI DFS, like I said, check out the description of the video. It's all there. And if these videos help you, help us back, like the video, subscribe to our channel so you know when the videos are coming out, and share with your friends. So good luck in your contest. I'll see you next week for the Roval in Charlotte, or the final road course of the year. So if you know how to get a hold of me, hope you have a great weekend. Check out our NFL video also that I have out there. And go look at your contest. I'll see you next time.